Sai Ram. So we were discussing on chapter 2 and where last session we stopped at where Arjuna is surrendering himself, saying that you have to guide me. So there is no way that I can deal with this issue. So he has realized that it is beyond his control or beyond his understanding, that he needs to be given a guidance. So this happens to everyone in their life also sometimes, where we think intellectually we can solve some of the problems, or we are smart enough to deal many things by ourselves. But at the end, what happens? You may not find any solution. There is only one way, that you have to surrender to the divine. So to guide us. So that's the same thing what has happened with Arjuna also. Because of his confusion, because he doesn't know how to balance his heart and mind. So he gets into this type of despondency. That's what we say. We won't say it as a confusion basically, because Arjuna himself is a very knowledgeable person. He's a great warrior. But the only thing is he didn't know how to balance his heart and mind. That is the issue what we are talking about. So now once he has surrendered himself, now the Krishna is going to address, and he is going to give the flow of all the Gita and giving him all the greatest knowledge what he is going to get. So that's what in last session we did discuss about what is called Sankhya Yoga. What is the Sankhya philosophy? Why that type of a philosophy has been instructed, especially in this wartime. Because we always remember in the war front, what is always dominant is your anger. Alright? So there will be more dominancy of your anger. But Krishna is advising to bring your wisdom in the war front. So that is something which we have to think about. Because Krishna is giving him, the Arjuna, now, yes, I know that you have anger. I know you have the krodha, vengeances and everything will be on the top. You will see enmity on the top because it's a Kshatriya Dharma that when you were waging a war. But including with that, it is very important what you need to have prioritized is your wisdom. So keep your wisdom and then you bring your all the other strategy in which way you want to play it. Then you can win the war. So that is the advice what he is trying to project it to the Arjuna. So the wisdom what he is going to give starts from the verse number 10 where he says, to him who was despondent in the midst of two armies, Hrishikesha, as if smiling, O Bharata, spoke these words. So to whom? So now the Arjuna has asked him the thing, saying that guide me. So he has surrendered himself and he said, I am ready for any guidance what you are going to give to me. So now in that case what happens? Hrishikesha. So the term Hrishikesha means who is the lord of the senses. So who is the controller of all the senses. And he is with smiling, he is giving this advice. He is going to start the flow of this advice. Now this is a remarkable personality of a jnani when you talk about other peoples. Because any experience in the jnani will always take it in a smiling way. And they also deliver the things in the smiling way. Alright? So that is how, because they, even though they say that there is a big calamities have come and all these things, they will always be in that state of mind. And then they will, from that balanced state of mind, they will always give the right advice what is needed. That is what the remarkable personality what we get from Krishna here. And what he is giving, he is going to give what is the difference, why you are grieving and what are all the essential elements of Atma and everything he is going to give. Here I love what is the analogy what Chinmaya has given, which I just want to go with. So he is giving the analogy of how the entire situation is, because he is standing in a chariot, Arjuna is there, Krishna is sitting as the charioteer, horses, and then there is ropes which have been tied. All those things have been given. Swami Chinmayananda gives beautiful analogy here. He says, Arjuna is a representation of ego, okay, individual ego. And the chariot is nothing but our body, okay. And the bow, what the Kandiba, what Arjuna is carrying, is your egocentric karmas, egocentric activities, okay, egocentric activities. Then the horses are the sense organs, indriyas. We can say das indriyas, karmendriya, jnanendriya, whatever we have. And then the rope which is pulling that, all right. So which is under the hands of the Krishna is considered to be your mind that is been pulling that. And Krishna is nothing but the Paramatma, who is the pure intellect. All right. So now what happens if the ego surrenders to that divine, to that pure intellect, that intellect will lead you. So this is the analogy what Swami Chinmayananda gives. It's a beautiful way of understanding in the entire Kurukshetra how the scene has been portrayed. Why? Because we have to understand the context and the content in which the principle has been delivered. Right? So we can understand that it is basically, there are two ways that we understand the Mahabharata or Ramayana or Bhagavad Gita or any literature. One is you can understand that these incidents have happened outside, physically somewhere. Okay? So you can always find that, and then there are historical events and everything. You can find out some reasonings on that, and you may get some of the evidences out of it. There is also another understanding that these things are not happening outside, these are happening within us. All right? How it is connected within our body, within our mind, within our side. So how it is being connected internally. So if you internalize it, it will be more applicable, right? Rather than you physically see them somewhere outside. You just imagine a Krishna standing, Arjuna standing outside. Yes, good. But sometimes if you relate it more with internally, it makes more appealing knowledge for us to make sense that how our body is being controlled by a pure intellect, how the sense organs have been under that mind as that which has been pulling it, and then how we have been given the direction by the divine, right, when we surrender to the divine. So that is the beauty of this entire analogy, what we understand. All right, so that's what the verse number 10 talks about. Now the first verse where the first flow of knowledge comes from the blessed Lord. He says, you have grieved for those that should not be grieved for, yet you speak words of wisdom. The wise grieve neither for living nor for the dead. Okay, so this is the first statement what Krishna is giving that. Number one, he is saying you are grieving for those not worth to be grieved for. And yet, what happens? You are speaking what? The words of wisdom. Always we always, for our sake, what we have, we are always trying to find out the smart words by which we will put our arguments, right? So because I want to justify my own principles, I will always come with my own philosophies and my own wisdoms, where I will try to relate my own way, saying that I am good or my words are correct. That's, from our point of view, we will all try to argue, right? So that is what Arjuna also did. So the wise grieve neither for living nor for the dead. So any wise person, they will never be worrying for, or they will never be grieving for anyone who is living, nor for any dead, because they understand it is a natural phenomena. It is a natural process. So there is no such incident or occurrence for which you need to be grieving for. Okay. So what does this mean for us is, basically we are understanding that in the life, the death is one of the things for which everyone is fearing of, is something which is inevitable. Right. So every time we say that every product has an expiry, same way when we are born we have an expiry also. So we do have an expiry date. Only thing is we don't know, but the products have been displayed very evidently. When you go there, when you see in a medicine or something, it is very much evidently seen there. Right? So sometimes we don't understand that there is something which is going to end. The life is going to end. Without that, we start looking for something. Because there is one beautiful incident given by one of the commentators. He says there was one person who is behind running to get wealth. He wants to make money. He was running, and then he, at like 30 years, 40 years, he was plundering and making money and saved everything so much. So now he decided, okay, I have a very considerable amount. From tomorrow, I'm going to start spending. So he has decided. Okay? So he wants to make a plan, and then he takes a notebook and he wants to write. Suddenly there is a knock on the door. So he thinks, who is knocking my door? So he opens. Then a fellow comes there, and he is like a black color guy, and he is standing there, He says, okay, come on. Who are you? I'm the Devadharma Raja, come on. Oh man, what is your work? What is your work? Why are you here? No. See, what happened is your time is gone. What? Man, I was working so long for me to earn all these things. I have the money. I didn't even have a pleasure to spend this. You have to give me at least 1 year time. At least I need to spend. He said, you don't know to whom you want to negotiate, first of all, because my department doesn't have any negotiation. Right? There is no agreement, no negotiation. My department is always corrupt-free, bribe-free, no corruption, nothing. You don't know to whom what you need to approach. I'm sorry. I said, oh my God, at least, I was making my plans to earn all these things, what you are saying. No, okay, do one thing. Give me at least 1 month time. You don't even understand what you're talking about. To whom you're talking, first of all. How illiterate you are. At least give me 5 minutes. He said, nothing doing. I can't give you 5 minutes. For your sake, maybe I have some grace on you. I will give you only 1 minute time. Whatever you want to do. With 1 minute, what I'm going to do. Whatever you want to do, you do with that 1 minute. You decide what you want to do. So he immediately takes that notebook and he writes a note. There is never ever tomorrow. Be today, at present, now. So there is nothing else as tomorrow. So the reality is, you can't think about tomorrow. The parlance is everything is at present, in now, at the moment. So don't waste for that, for tomorrow. So that is the reality. Because what I'm saying is, see, these things which we will always think about, it's going to be somewhere in the future, far future, something like that. This is inevitable, which can happen anytime. So we don't know when it is going to be there, what is the time for us, when is the time of occurrence. So we have to have something which always we need to remind, every day is now and then, you have to enjoy. That's why we say when you go outside, right? So what happens, our mind, Swami Chinmaya says beautifully, our mind is something which always fluctuates between past and the future, not in the present. Our mind is always something which is fluctuating between the past or in the future. It is not always in the present. So even if you are drinking a coffee, you want to go to the Tim Hortons, buy the great flavor of Tim Hortons, you want to buy a beautiful coffee, you want to sip the coffee and enjoy it, you won't. Because when you are drinking, you are not in the present state. Next thing, what is next for me? After this, you are done. So this is our mind. So we have to anchor it to the present. That is what we are doing in a contemplation or a meditation process. We are trying to anchor it. So many people think, what is meditation? Meditation means you are getting out of the thought. Yes, that will happen a little later. But immediately what you are doing, you are trying to bring your brain and the mind to the present state. Not to wander. Not to be jumping here and there, because it always jumps. Right? It always jumps. That's a beautiful way. There is one Ramakrishna Math sannyasi was telling. So there was a question. Even then I sit in the meditation. Sometimes I get so many things in my mind, right? So many dangerous things are coming in my mind. One devotee told, I cannot close my eyes. I'm getting scared because everything is coming there. What to do? He told, you have to clean your garbage by yourself. Because you have thrown so many dust garbages inside. You have to take your time to dig out all the garbage and make sure you have to clean it. So otherwise you cannot do it. So it takes time. Sometimes you are nervous system need to get the track and get into that calmness. It takes time for you. So that's why you need to keep them in a practice. Your mind has to be trained in such a way it gets into this practice. So it is not going to come within a day, right? So within one day when you jump into it and by saying the Rama or Narayana, the next day you won't say that it will be there for you in the mind. You keep on doing it. Keep on doing it. Scientific research has shown that when you keep on doing certain way and certain chanting and certain way of doing things, your brain develops certain nervous cues and nervous system or nervous type of network, neural network, which helps you, your parasympathetic and a synthetic system of nervous system gets much more rigid so that you don't get fear, you don't get stressed easily, you don't get your anxiety. I'm not saying it is with the scientific research what I am talking about. So they have done a lot of research. The long-term chanters, the long-term meditators, they have seen how their brains are doing, how their brains are interacting, right? So they can find out this. So what happens, what is the thing is, you have to keep certain things in a habit, regularize it, routine it. So that's why what is Swami's 9 code of contact, first ever contact. Daily meditation and prayer. What does it mean? See, he simply has given that word. At least follow this. If you can't do anything, at least follow this 9 code of contact. That's what he has given, that very first emphatic statement for us. Why? At least you practice this. This will have your impact on your brain. So your brain will be having that of type of a nervous, network, neural networks will be working for you. So this is something which we need to understand. Why I'm saying is, we have to understand the reality of the life. The practicality is everyone will have an expiry date. We don't know when. So we have to accept the truth and work for it. When you understand there is an expiry, you know what action you want to do. Sometimes you will do your own action in a corrective way rather than someone need to guide you, because you know that. So tomorrow, uncertain, let me do whatever I want to do correctly today. Right? There is no tomorrow, right? So there is always one of the professor was a principal to me. I always remember this statement from him. His name is T.V. Venkataraman. Okay, so when he recruited one of the professor, but he was seeing him. So he always judges the professors. He will ask them to teach in the class, and how they teach, based on that he will do the selection. So I was also sitting in the selection with him, and then another senior most were sitting, and then we were trying to evaluate 2 or 3 professors. And then I told one person, I thought, even though he was okay, but we can give him a chance. He told, Ravi, there is no second chance for anything. If you are given an opportunity, that is the best chance what you have to do. There is no second chance. Why is now second chance? Because even this opportunity is not sincere, then how do you trust him? Right? How do you trust him? So that is one of the terms which I'm just relating, even though you may think how this can be applicable. This is what the application of Bhagavad Gita in the real life. So think there is no tomorrow. Do it perfect today. All right? So we need to understand that impermanency were there. All right? That's why we always say we have so many things we have to rediscover ourselves. Right? So in this, what happens, Swami Chinmayananda says that there is need to be a re-education for us. There is need to be re-education for us. So what is that? A re-education of the mind through metaphysical and physic method is the last word in psychotherapy, which the East gave to the world many thousand years ago. Krishna starting his Gita's lesson with the attempt to re-educate the Arjuna. So there is sometimes you have to understand, you have to relearn certain things. Right? So what is very, very important thing which we need to understand is, change is inevitable. You have to be ready to change yourself. All right? So recently I was listening in through a radio interview. There was a talk about, we all know that there was a cell phone company by name Nokia. Right? Now where is this Nokia now? What happened? Microsoft has purchased it. right? Microsoft has purchased for a very, 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 very low amount in their life. Nokia was topmost. There were even film songs written based on Nokia. Right? So much was the brand. Now what happened? The brand is gone. After that, the merger has happened that the Microsoft has purchased totally. The board of directors, the chairman was giving an interview. The Nokia chairman told, we didn't do any mistake. Only one thing we missed is we didn't understand the pulses of the people. We didn't change. We didn't change. If a company can realize, see how beautifully your Bhagavad Gita is applicable today. How beautifully this application of Bhagavad Gita comes to you. If a company is saying that I am not ready to change, what is the fate? So you have to understand a change per minute, per second has to happen within you. You cannot have the same experience what you are in the child. You have to grow. That's why in Tamil we say, Aalum valarano, Arivum valarano. That means your body has to also grow and also your intellect should also grow. Growth means it's 2 markers. It's not only one. So it is very important that you have to grow in both the ways. Both physically and intellectually you have to grow. So it is important that that change has to be recorded. So it's important for us. So what is needed? So if time to time you need to re-educate yourself, be ready for that. Don't think that I know. Right? I know everything. Even sometimes if you ask, hey, come on, we are going to talk about Ramayana. Oh, I know about Ramayana. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. No, people think about it. Eh? No, people think like that way because they think, oh, Ramayana, I know. What is that? Oh, yeah. Mahabharata, first class, I know everything because I was with the Vyasa. I was one of the scribes. No, it's not the player who has written, it's me. So I know everything. So this is how our mentality is because we think these are boring for us. Arjuna, because he cannot balance, he started having a philosophy not to take anything from outside. He started rejecting it. That's where the word of wisdoms and all those things, he started blabbering many things, right? So that's where the Krishna is slapping him and wants him to understand, you need to be educated. You need to be given a treatment where you have to understand you don't know. Correct? You don't know. Sometimes we say that there are 4 different categories. Maybe some of you may be familiar, right? So there are 4 type of categories of personality we say. One is I know that I know. Right? I know that I know. This person is very clear. He knows what he knows. Number 2, I know that I don't know. He is also a little bit clear because he knows what is his weakness. Right? The third one, he has to be given some, involvement and then he knows what is that. I don't know that I know. That is also good. That is like your Anjaneya, Hanuman, because he don't know that he knows. The last fellow is like a foolish fellow, but he will be the very great intellect what he speaks. I don't know that I don't know. Right? These are all the people you can categorically meet. All these 4 categories you will meet your personalities every day in your life. And the last fellow is very hard to handle because he don't know that he doesn't know, but he will talk as if he knows. Right? Sometimes he will be sitting as your manager also. You cannot say anything to him. He is your boss, he is sitting in your manager. That is, unfortunately, he is your manager. Maybe in that way you have to think, fortunately, he is your manager also. Why? Because if he knows everything, then he doesn't need to hire you. So that's what I say, because sometimes some of my students ask me, sir, how that, sir, my manager doesn't even know. That's why I say, that's why he has hired you, man. If he knows everything, you are not supposed to be there. You don't need it, because he can handle everything. So you have to understand. So that somewhere you have to think about, you have to take the other side of the life and you have to enjoy. So re-education of your mind is very, very important. You have to learn. You have to be prepared to learn anytime. Be open to learn. So relearning, do it again and again. Relearning is very, very important for us. So that is very very great way that he is telling it here. And also, it was also think that so the dejection and despondency of the Arjuna is from physical, mental, and intellectual level. All right. So Krishna is advising Arjuna to come out of all these three stages. So never get into this physical, mental, intellectual attachments. So you have to come out of these three so that you can have a clarity in your life. So this is very important for us to understand how we have to come out of it. So based on that, he says, you don't need to grieve for them. Why? Because they are not going to be permanent. So because you think that you are going to kill them, it's not the real killing. So they are not permanent, and it is not worth for you for the death. So you have to understand what is the difference between, Swami says very clearly, what is the difference between destruction of a physical body and about your Atma. Atma is not destructed. Atma remains. Atma is equal to consciousness. Consciousness ever remains. Everywhere the consciousness is there. Right? So famous Ayurvedic doctor and famous, maybe we can say, is like a Maharishi who is called Deepak Chopra. I think most of you could have listened to him. He says, in a womb where a child, even before getting into that heartbeat, right, consciousness is there. He says consciousness is there. So that only brings the birth of that womb. Right? You understand? Even the form is not there. They say the first one is heart, I think, so that which forms. So even before that heart coming up, consciousness is there. Even there is no brain or something what we talk about. That means brain is just an instrument. Consciousness is before that. Brain is just an expression of consciousness. You understand? I may be sounding little scientific, but this is the reality. We have to connect something with the brain and all those things so that you can understand the reality of today, what they are talking about. Today there are researches going on about how an enlightened mind is going to be. So there is a book called Buddha's Brain. If you have a chance, you can read. The book by name is Buddha's Brain, but by Andrew Newberg. It's an excellent book which talks about what is type of an enlightenment what Buddha has got, and what type of the brain nervous system, what type of cues he has got and what is needed, and also all those details are given. It's called the Buddha's Brain. So why we are talking about this? Because you understand enlightenment is something not coming from somewhere from there. It happens within you by your own experience. It happens within you, within your body. It happens within you because of your change, because you experience it. So to be in a scientific way or in a biological way, it should be an hormonal trigger which happens within your brain. You understand? That is what is called moksha. That is what is called enlightenment. You don't need something. What triggers is something we need to explore. Which triggers also it is up to you, because you need to customize which will trigger that, so that my hormone gets that balance, so that my brain gets into that enlightenment stage. So this is somewhere we have to find out and work out. That's why they say meditation has a very great impact in many things. So you have to practice that. All right. So this is very important, so that he says you come out of this physical, mental and the intellectual level of attachment so that you move to the spiritual level of your life. Okay. So now comes to the verse number 12 in continuation. From here there is a perennial flow of Krishna's beautiful statements come out. Right. Because Vyasa was talking about Mahabharatam, he talked about Bhagavatam. He wants to talk this supreme knowledge, right? So because he has already written he was also authored the Brahma Sutra. So he wants to bring the essence of the Brahma Sutra in somewhere. So what he did is he brought these essence of Brahma Sutra into this Bhagavad Gita. So basically you are studying what is called Brahma Sutra and its application through these lines where like Krishna is reciting it. So Vyasa wants to bring that Brahma Sutra's knowledge to us through this. So in the verse number 12 it says, it is not that any time Indeed, I was not, nor were you, nor these rulers of men, nor verily shall we all ever cease to be hereafter. It is not that at any time in the past, indeed was I not, I am not there, or you are not there, or nor these rulers are not there. Okay? Nor verily shall we all ever cease to be hereafter. So what does the statement gives us? A clue for us. What type of statement Krishna is telling here? Nothing is permanent. Then? Very good. Yeah, so you are coming and going, there's a change. There is always a process that you are going to come and go, come and go, come and go, right? So this is the process what Krishna is telling about. So this talks about a theory called theory of reincarnation. Am I right? Theory of reincarnation. That is, you are going to get the birth again and again, which is also remarked in the Bhajagovindam as Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani, Jatare Sayanam. Alright? So you are going to take birth again and again. Pattinatthar also says this beautifully as his own Jnana Pulambal. Jnana Pulambal means he is saying that I should not have it. Madhavo Udal Salittal. Madhava, let me first finish the song and then beautiful song. And then you can understand the meaning of it. Madhavo Udal Salittal, Valvinayano Kal Salittan. Vedavum Kai Salittu Vittane, Nada, Irupayuril Valum Sivane, Innum or Annayin Karupayil Varamal Ka. So what does it mean? He says, mother, by giving birth again and again and again, she got tired. Valvinayano, so he puts the word Valvinay for father, because he is the Sutradhari, because his DNA is based on him, to be very frank. Am I right? So that's the Pattinatthar, even though he is not a science person, he has given that Valvinayano, the father decides your karma. And he says he Kal Salittan. Kal Salittan means his breath. Kal means breath. Okay, so it is talking about your breath. So not about Kal means not only leg. So for you to understand in Tamil. Vedavo Kaisalittu Vittane. Veda means who is the Lord. Also what happened? The fellow, the Lord who is creating, who is that? Brahma. He himself has got, he is tired of giving so much of birth to you. Right? So, yeah, so many births we have taken. So, mother has got the body, physically she is weak. Father is also weak. The fellow, the forefather for all of us who is the Brahma, he is also weak. Appa, Lord, Nada, Irupayuril Valum Sivane, Irupayur. So, there is a Lord Shiva, where if you go and pray to him, he is the one fellow who can give you at least an enlightenment. He will try to protect you. So, Irupayuril Valum Sivane, Innum or Annayin Karupayil Varamal Ka. So please protect me that I should not be taking a birth. Beautiful statement, beautiful. Beautiful statement. So these are something which we have to connect with Tamil, some of the excellent literatures here. We have to really cherish that. Pattinatthar says as a Jnana Pulambal. So what does it mean? Because this is how we are coming again and again, as if you have something, right? So like a cricketer runners between here and there. You are running from this end to that end to this end to that end to this end. What is that? What we are doing, right? So beautifully says, Kripananda Variyar says a beautiful statement here. He says, there are three types of tiredness in our human being. Three types of tiredness. One is physical tired. What does physical tired means? You exert yourself, you work yourself. You got a lot of workout and you got tired physically. Number two, mental tiredness. Right? What is mental tiredness? Because your brain is tired. No, though you are not physically working. Most of us get the mental tired right now. Because we are working long hours sitting in front of the computer. We get a lot of tiredness. So many calls, so many things we are attending and all those things. Anxiety, stress, anything can happen because if anything blocks your nervous system flow, definitely there is a mental tiredness is there. So physical tiredness, mental tiredness. And third thing he says, this beautifully Kripananda Varya says, that is called spiritual tiredness. What is spiritual tiredness? He say, too much of birth you are taking again and again and again and again, and then you get tired because you, what time I'm going to get out of it? That's what it's beautifully one of the song which is sung by I think so Maharajapuram Santanam, I think so. You should have been very familiar with Vilayada Idu Nerama. That's about the Muruga song. Right? Kalaiten Janmam Eduthu Shalaiten Porutthirundu. So Kalaiten, I'm fed up, I'm so tired. Janmam Eduthu, taking so much of birth again and again and again and again. I born again and again. Kalaiten Janmam Eduthu Shalaiten. How many times I want to get birth here? Are you not going to give me at least that small amount of spiritual enlightenment in my mind? Every time you're creating me, every time you are giving me a vasana, every time I'm driving out, I'm behind certain vasana, I'm taking a birth again, I'm coming back with some DNA, with my own defect, with my own diseases, living, running, going back. What is this? So much. Annai ettanai annayo, appan ettanai appano, pillaigal ettanai pillaigalo, all Pattinadar says this. How many times I have born, how many mothers I don't know, how many fathers I don't know, how many children I have got I don't know, how many wives in the different janmas I have.
I was just saying there's wife.
No, wife is coming there. He has told about it. How many times I have got this entanglement of all these bandhas. When you are going to get me out of all these samsara bandhas? Alright? So it is really admitted by all the saints that this theory of reincarnation is happening every time. We are taking birth again and again without realizing what is the purpose of our life living. Not realizing our divinity. Right? Not realizing our spirituality. So that is where here the Krishna wants to give him this introduction to Arjuna, saying that understand, not that now what you are seeing today, this is not the first time you are seeing them.
So is it 7 births or is it unlimited?
Unlimited, that's what they say. 7 birth is what they have just given in some of the records. Because 7 birth is given based on Tirukkural. Because why he says seven birth based on the Tirukkural, I'm just referring that because based on what Orumayul Thaan Katra Kalvi. Elumayum Yema Pudaithu. So if you have read the education, if you got an education, at least in 1 birth, even though you are not using it, that knowledge will be there at least for 7 generations. At least for 7 generations. Basically, you can even think about this way. Now, the question is, what is Janma? A Janma can be not you need to be there. It could be you passing your DNA to your own son. That could be there. So, Atma is that way. So, that's why you can also think why I am saving this citation also with a reference, an academic reference. Some of you have studied the Vishnu Sahasranama, you should know. Paracharatmajam bande shukatatam taphonitim. What is that? Parachara atmajam bande. Who is Atmaja? For Parachara, Atmaja means his son. Who is Vyasa? So it could be your own son, your own children is your Atma. Because they can carry. So it could be that with reference also they could have given about the Janmas. So it means you are in the continuous production, right? So the chain production going on and on and on. So you don't know how this chain, you want to stop yourself. You don't want to entangle into this samsara bandha. That is what Krishna wants to say him. All right?
Also saying that you take 7 human births.
Yeah, of course. That is there as per Shastra. 7 human birth is also there. As per the human, but I would say that it is one of the record which they have given, but we don't know how many births we have. So because why? Pullahi. Correct?
So Lala Janmam is 49. I'm just
7 human births. Maybe we are insect.
Any type of things what we have.
After the 7 we will not know what we are.
Pullahi, Purudahi, you have those beautiful song which talks about. So you have so many type of, see what does it mean is, you can also take in 2 ways that song as a connotation. One is Pullahi, Purudahi means it is not like You are born as a grass. It is that level of knowledge you have. So I have started like a grass. My knowledge is nothing. Like even like a one cell organism. All right. Slowly I'm gaining the experience. And then I progress myself. I evolve myself to the higher level. Right? This is the stage, what we all do. So progress should be there. The problem is we are not developing progressively. Correct? We get stagnant at one place. We get stagnant at certain place. We get the pleasure, you stop there. You get into that animal type of a pleasure and then you stop there. Sometimes we behave like a beast or animal. Correct? So that is what it is. I think so in one of the discourse Swami says, every human being has 85% of animal instinct, 15% human. And Swami's only request is increase that 15 to 20 or something. So that's why he gave you human values and all. But what we are ready to do is we want to reduce the 15 to 10. We want to put it in the negative side. Swami was asking you to increase it. So you take some steps to increase that. At least from 15 increase it. But we are not ready for that. We are always ready to push it back. So this is the problem what we are having. Because we are supposed to have these type of characters because yes, we have got all these DNAs within us. You cannot get out of it. Even when there is a stress or anxiety, they say, the brain researchers say that it is same like your animal instinct, your brain is working. When there is a stress or anxiety, your brain also working as an animal instinct. You also fear. You get that stress. You're totally blocked out. Sometimes you want to escape. Sometimes you want to jump. All these things like your animals. So it shows you that you have got certain nervous things same like them. So how we have to get out of it, that's what the progress, what it has been given by Pullahi Prudai. So you have to gain that spiritual knowledge. Step by step you have to go. Progressively you have to come out of it. By the grace of Guru, by the grace of God or anything. All right. So what I am saying here, the main story, what we are coming back here is bouncing back that the birth, reincarnation is something which is inevitable. So this theory of reincarnation could be vouched here also from the Bhagavad Gita, from this verse. So where Krishna is saying not that I am here today, not that we are not there in the past, not that we are not going to be there in the future, we will be here. So whether this Krishna with this body and this Arjuna is here right now, maybe in the future there could be different Krishna, different Arjuna, different person who is standing here. So always, this is the beautiful statement one of the commentators told, this something which we need to think about. Always this Ramayana and Mahabharata is going to happen again and again. It's going to happen again and again. That means Krishna is going to come again and again. Rama is going to come again and again. But we don't know how he is going to come. Maybe that time he may not have that type of a dress. He may be having a different type of a jeans pant or something. We don't have an idea how he is going to come, right? So we don't know whether modernity or with instead of riding a chariot, he may have a different Tesla car or something like that where he can take it as. But what we are thinking is it could be different way. But we have understand Krishna will always come. Sambhavami yuge yuge. See, he said that, Sambhavami yuge yuge, I will come. So that's a beautiful positive statement. Understand that. It's a beautiful positive statement. So Krishna is going to come. How the manifestation of Krishna is going to happen, whether you are going to internalize him or externally you are still sitting and searching, it's up to you. You're still going to search him outside, you can keep on searching. You want to internalize, then you can understand how he is. Okay, so that is where we talk about theory of reincarnation, right? Verse number 13, just as in this body, the embodied soul passes into childhood, youth and old age, so also does he pass into another body. The firm man does not grieve at it. Okay, just as in this body, the embodied soul passes into childhood, youth and old age, so also does he pass into another body. So here this is where he started explaining him that there is something called as Atma. Alright. as you are passing from one stage to another, one stage to another, one stage to another, same way your body, there is one element which is the consciousness, which will also transfer or transmit from one state to another state or one person to another person. So this happens in a subtle way which we don't know. Sometimes these memories are carried, sometimes these memories and experience are not being seen. So how do we understand this? Say for example, Chinmaya gives the example of Mozart. We know the Mozart was very legend, right? So as a child, he can play the piano very good. We have seen some of the child prodigy. We don't know how they are excellent, right? So all of a sudden at the age of 7 or 8, they can sing, they can say the ragas, they can do something else, which is extraordinary. So that gives us the idea, right? Okay, so their Atma should be totally different. Am I right? So their consciousness is totally in a different way. So probably they have got some previous experience which is going to be here. So we don't know. So from where we have started. So only thing is because we are passing through, as our body passes through different age. So same way our soul also passes from one to another. As we are wearing our dress, you're changing your clothes or anything, it is also going to take that position. That's what the idea what Krishna is telling in a simple way for him to understand. So let us understand, in a childhood, whatever experiences we got, we have given that experience then when we entered into the youth. Alright? And then after you pass your youth and then you become little bit of a old, then you are giving up your youth age and then you are jumping into the old. But still you have some of the memories what you have done in your childhood, not all. Like Swami says, if I ask you 10 years back on this day, where you were? If this is the question, what we can say? This time, what we are doing. So no one will know. I can have faintly some memories. Maybe I can approximately say something, but I don't know. If you don't know, don't remember even the 10 years, how do you remember the previous birth? That's what the Swami's question is. Right? If you don't remember the previous, your own way, then how do you remember your previous birth? So it is not possible. It is not the question about that. We understand there is a process which is happening here. All right? There is a process which is going on. So we need to move on. So this is happening. Right? So this is happening in a natural way that we move from one stage to another stage, another stage to another stage. As we gain our experience, same way you are also moving from one body to another. So that is also happening in the process of evolution. That's what they say as we are working on that. So this reminds me about one of the story about Jataparata. So there's a story which comes from the Jataparata story. This person is a very great saint. Okay. So he is in the forest and in the deep wood, he is doing a lot of meditation. And then he is very deep in that. So there was a small deer which always comes in front of him and jumps and goes, and it looks very beautiful in front of him, and then he gets a little bit attracted with that deer. So when the age that he has to pass, he was searching for the deer. Right? He is a saint already. But when the age is passing, almost he is going to expire, he is searching for the deer because he always liked to see the deer with beauty and all. Then he passes off. The next Janma, because when he was dying, he was only witnessing the deer, he was born as a deer. So this is what we say as Vasana. This is what is stuck in your mind. That is what you are going to have. This is why they say, here in Bhagavad Gita it comes, Krishna will say emphatically, during your time of death, please think of me. So that will come only through practice. Please understand. That is not going to happen all of a sudden for us. That time you will think about all that. I don't know whether it is true or false. There is a scientific statement. They say that before the death, minimum for your last 7 seconds or 7 minutes, there will be flash of incidents will come to you. Flash of incidents will come to you. Sometimes you are stuck with one incident, done. You go for that. You are expelled. Okay, so Swami will be watching us. Okay, so this will be going like your TV screen all the way. That one gone. Okay, go. He is trying to see where you want to exit it. So you're stuck on one point, done. So what you have to do, that's why they say you have to train your brain as an observer. Our brain has that quality. You can make your brain as observer, watch what is happening. So be there and just witness all those things. Don't get interacted with that. So if that passes through, no problem, nothing happens, then says, okay. Swami says, okay, we will give him some rest for some time. Not now. Okay? So there will be some rest for you. So this is something which is they're saying. So I don't know whether it is validated or not, but we understand there could be a reason for that. So even that 7 minutes or 7 seconds, what is going through in your mind is basically what we talk about, what is called as Chitraguptan Kanakku. Right? So there is a person called Chitragupta who will write all your accounts. He will have a big ledger book. There is the assets and liabilities. He is trying to tally your balance sheet and to find out whether you need to pay or whether there is asset which will pay for you. Right? Right? So I think this is what even Swami has said. It is not Chitragupta, it is called Chittagupta. Swami says it is called Chittagupta. Chitta means your mind. So during your death time, this mind will read you all your events. It will give you an evaluation, what I have done, what I have done, what I have done, what I have done. You started pitying on something, that's where you stuck. So that's where you have to be clear, because never, ever, ever have some guilty or something else. You have to be out of it as an observer. Right? So this why I'm saying is, when the soul passes from one place or one level to another, don't get stuck with certain things. We have to be prepared mentally that we are not getting entangled with certain things. So that is where the vasanas come into picture. Right? Vasanas are something which leads you there. That is the place where you can excel. So you will be coming out of it. You have been put out. Right? You have been excited. So we have to understand that our body passes through, like our old age, what we are coming up. So same way the process of soul is also happening. Right? So verse number 14, I think we can finish it. The contact of senses with objects, O son of Kunti, which cause heat and cold, pleasure and pain, have a beginning and an end. They are impermanent. Endure them bravely, O descendant of Bharata. Okay. So he says, contact of senses with objects. So which can cause you heat and cold. So what causes you the duality? This is the question. So let us think about it. Because here the Krishna says, the contacts of senses with objects, okay, which cause heat and cold, pleasure and pain, beginning and an end. Okay. So what do we understand from this statement?
Is to treat everything equally, kind of with an equanimity.
Okay. Equanimity. All right.
That is not to get scared or frightened or get upset when there are happy incidents as well as sad incidents, but to have a neutral
Okay. Okay. So yeah, that way we can read it, because it's your own understanding of how you see these verses. All right. So what do you other things? Other people, how do you think about this statement? The contact of senses with objects creates heat and cold, pleasure and pain, and also have a beginning and an end.
I also can I relate one more?
Sure. Go ahead.
I think I remembered reading in the autobiography of a yogi,
Mhm.
where Swami Yogananda is saying when he was traveling in a train, it was so hot
Mm.
and the fans were not working or whatever, and it was sweating, but in his mind, because he's a realized soul, he was saying, no, I'm feeling cool, it's nice, breezy in here. He kept on programming his mind to think that way, even though it was boiling hot.
Mm.
And then he never felt the heat,
Beautiful.
because his mind was positively contemplating all the time that it's a nice, cool environment.
Beautiful. What else? Anything else? Anyone having anything? I also got a hearsay story, but I don't know. This is with regard to when Ramakrishna Paramahamsa had a group of disciples in front of him. So he tossed a small candy in the mouth of every disciple, right? So to find out what is happening. So after 10 minutes, when he asked them to open the mouth, most of the disciples' candies are totally dissolved. There's only one person's candy was just intact how it has been put in his mouth. It is Narendranath, then he became the Swami Vivekananda. So what does it mean? Even though you get a contact with an object, your senses are not induced, you will never ever get this duality. See the beautiful understanding. How do you get this entanglement? It's because your senses are interacting with the object. Understand? See, these are all the way that you have to go dissect the verse and get into it. Rather than just reading, nothing going to happen. Because if I ask you to read tomorrow, you like an exam or newspaper, you will read. You won't even get any single idea. What is this? What is this? Even if you read Swami's Gita Vahini also, the same thing happens. Unless otherwise you dissect the verse and understand. He says an object, contact of senses with the object. Very important. Your object and senses interact. The moment it interacts, then you all get, oh my God, this sugar is very good. Right? So your senses is giving that addiction to you. Everything comes to you. And then you're gushing of all your feelings and everything starts. So the object getting into your senses. But if you know how your senses cannot interact with the object, if you know how to hold it, then there is no duality. Your control of your mind is there. You know, you will never see this is sweet, this is hard, this is a thing and all. You should not get more into involvement. Is something which we have to get out of it, right? So sometimes you need to be very clear that, okay, these are all just an objects which are impermanent in their life, right? It is all about the mentality, right? So you can see the same picture, but someone can see in a different way, someone can see in the different way. Correct? So Kannadasan told, Kallakanda, Nayakana, Nayakanda, Kallakana. What does it mean? There is a dog which is sculpted in a stone. One fellow came and he said, oh man, this is a stone. Another fellow told it is a dog. So this is the perception how you are seeing it, right? How do you take it? That is a very important one. There is one incident which one of the commentator gave, very good. So this is about how we view the things, right? So there was this fellow's child. He called the child because he was studying something. He called his child, his daughter, to get his specs, his glasses, which is there in the first floor. Can you go up, climb there and get my glasses? The daughter told, Popa, I don't, no, I can't. She was keeping quiet. And after a few minutes, the next door neighbor came. Okay, the friend came. And these two people were started running here and there. And the same daughter was climbing the same floor up and down for at least 20 times. All right? This fellow caught hold of the daughter and asked, hey, come here. I asked you only one time to go up and get my glasses and come here. You told that is so up. Now you are going 20 times climbing up and down. What is it happening? You know, she told, Popa, நீங்க சொன்னது வேலை இது விளையாட்டு. What you told is a work. What I am doing now, it is a play, is a game. Yeah, so this is very important. How do we see it? It's a perception. So the contact of our sense with the object is the perception which makes more interaction with the same object, and it makes you more workable, or you don't want to get attached or entangled with that, right? So this is very important. We will continue with this verse number 14 in the next session also. Maybe probably next week we are not going to meet. I have some work, and then I think even next week is Ishrama Day, I think so. Right, so we may not have time. So the week after next week, we will meet again and we will take up the verse number 14, and then we will do some more interesting understanding on that. Okay, so with that I'll stop here. So we'll do 1 Om and 3 Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sai Ram, Sai Ram.